Every athlete says that they want to get recruited. They train hard, play hard, but their nutrition, it's really an afterthought. Here's the truth. If you're eating like every other high schooler, you're average. You're mid. And if you're mid, you're probably not getting offers. Coaches aren't just looking at skill. They want durable athletes. They don't want you to be injured. They want discipline. They want high performing athletes. And the way that you eat speaks volumes about the type of player you're going to be at the next level. Today, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how nutrition can make you more recruitable so that you can stack wins, get ahead, and not get passed up like every other average player. If you want to be bigger, stronger, faster, you need to eat like it. So, why does nutrition matter to recruiting? Well, think about your college coaches. What do they care about? They don't just care about talent. They don't just recruit talent. They recruit consistency, resiliency, durability, and discipline. They want to know that you can be consistent over time. They want to make sure that you can be resilient even when things are hard. They want you to be durable. If you're not a durable athlete, you're getting injured, whether it's a couple days here and there, whether it's a couple weeks like a sprain, whether it's a strain, whatever it is. If you keep getting injured, those are red flags. They don't want injured athletes. So if you're already getting injured a lot in high school, that is a red flag, and it's a red flag in your nutrition and probably your sleep as well. They want disciplined athletes. Nutrition requires discipline, because if you're eating differently than everybody else at the lunch table, that's different. That's discipline, because you know that you want to be great. You know that you want to be the best athlete possible. And so you're being different. That requires discipline. If your parents eat like garbage and you choose not to eat like garbage, that takes discipline. And you just have to really focus on what is most important to me. Is it fitting into everybody else, or is it achieving my dreams? When we look at what college coaches are looking at, they're asking, can this athlete handle the demands of a college schedule? I just had Nick Barrero on the podcast last week, and he talked about, waking up at 5:30 a.m., working out, going to class, working out, doing some other training, working out again. Like, it's a lot of training. It's a lot of demand on your body and on your time. And so if you can't even take care of your nutrition at this point, and your body can't handle those demands, even in a high school level, you're probably not going to handle that college level very well, and you might get cut. Or you might just be flat out riding the bench. Think of your body like a Formula One car, or maybe a Ferrari. Are you fueling it like a race car or like a beat up Honda? A lot of you guys might be like me, drove Hondas, in high school, maybe a Mazda, whatever, some old car. Are you putting the same stuff into that crappy car that you would into a Formula One car or into a Ferrari? Probably not. If your plate looks like everyone else's at the lunch table, don't expect different results. Now, let's talk about some common nutrition mistakes. And these are common nutrition mistakes that are going to make you as an athlete less recruitable. So, number one is inconsistent eating. Inconsistent eating equals inconsistent performance. Because if you are skipping meals, or you're under fueling, you're going to have slower recovery. You're going to have more injuries. You're going to feel sluggish. If you're skipping breakfast, you're already missing out on possible gains, on possible, again, just general better performance in your workouts. I don't care if your workouts in the morning, if it's after school, if it's during school, if it's in the evenings. What you eat at breakfast impacts what you get out of those workouts. So make sure that you're not skipping meals. Make sure that you are consistent with your eating. It doesn't mean you have to eat the same thing every single day. If that works for you, great. But you need to find a routine. You need to be able to be consistent with it. This is one of the things I really stress with my athletes, and this is why I don't try to make them follow some cookie cutter meal plan where they have to do 10 things at once. We build habits. We build routines. We pick a couple specific things, which I'm going to highlight here in a few minutes, that are going to make the biggest difference. The things that are going to move the needle the most. Number two, over relying on supplements instead of real food. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. Let me just repeat that. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. You cannot out creatine a bad diet. You cannot out caffeine a bad diet. You definitely can't out caffeine a bad sleep either. So supplements are a cherry on top. They are, they're not the main sundae. They're not the main thing. They are the bonus on top. So if you're not eating consistently, if you're not putting in proper protein, balanced carbs, the fats, the color, all those things into your nutrition on a regular basis, that creatine has no place in your diet. If you're not getting 8 hours of sleep, that caffeine has no place in your diet. If you're working out at 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. at night and you're taking caffeine pre-workout, that also does not have a place in your diet if you want to actually get good sleep at night, because otherwise you're not. That caffeine's still going to be in your system. So yes, supplements can help. There are places where supplements can be really beneficial. Creatine can actually be really beneficial post concussion or even potentially in preventing concussion. Same with omega-3s. But if you're not addressing the foundation, then nothing else is really going to matter. So focus on that foundation first, then we can look to supplements. Step 3 is, or mistake number 3, is not fueling properly for different phases. So you might be in the off season right now. So you're focused on building, or maybe you're focused on leaning right now. Either way, it's going to look different than when you're in season. You may be adding more volume. You may have different foods that you might be eating. In season, though, you're going to have to amp things up. You look at LeBron, by the time he hits the playoffs, he's eating a lot more carbs. He is ramping that up because he knows he's going to be burning a ton of energy. You guys, basketball players out there, most of you are not eating enough. Baseball players, football players, I'm seeing the same mistake with you guys too. Whatever your sport is, you need to make sure you're eating enough and enough of the right foods. And you need to base it off of your season. If you are in season, you're most susceptible to injuries because you're putting the most stress on your body in season. And you're more likely to lose weight. A lot of my athletes, they know the journey of having to, or losing a lot of weight in season, and that really killing their performance. And so if you want to prevent that, then we need to build systems in the off season to make it easier in season to maintain and to make sure that you stay healthy so that you're not getting injured. So, those are a couple different phases. There's also might be phases where you're like, hey, I'm in a bulk season right now. I want to get bigger, stronger. What you do during that phase is going to look different than if you're like, hey, I want to maintain, but I want to get lean and fast. We're going to be putting different things in your body at those points. When I worked with Drew, helping him get faster after gaining all of his size, that is one of the things we focus on was, we fine-tuned his nutrition a bit more to help him make the most out of those workouts, to help him lean out even more. So what high-level athletes are doing differently? Number one is they're fueling like it's their job. And I know it sounds like boring, like, man, like I don't like my job. I don't want to have another job. Like it doesn't sound exciting, but think about it as this is going to help you achieve your dreams. This is going to help you play at the highest level possible. And every easy thing was hard at one point. Every hard thing can become easy. And what I find with all of my athletes, when they do it consistently, when they build these habits, it gets easier. It becomes just part of their routine and they don't have to think about it as much. I know it might be hard if your family is eating like garbage and you're really trying to be intentional. Part of what you can do is set that example for your family and do what you can to take care of your body. And hopefully they take notice and they start taking care of theirs too. But if they don't, then that's ultimately on them. I couldn't control my parents taking care of their bodies like a trash can. Like I could not control that. I can only control me. And so really focus on yourself and be like, hey, what do I want to accomplish? And what do I need to do to accomplish that? One of those things is to put better food into your body. Step 2, they plan their meals to match their training and their game schedule. So if you're doing a conditioning session, if you know you're going to have this really intense workout and you know it's going to be long, it's going to be exhausting, then you need to plan for that. You make sure you have a solid dinner the night before. You make sure you have a solid breakfast that's probably higher carbohydrates than you maybe normally do. Maybe your lunch could be higher carbohydrates, or even you're just sneaking in some carbs pre-workout. In general, you're probably going to need to be eating a lot more and a lot more balanced carbs on a conditioning day than if you're just lifting for an hour or if you're just hitting for an hour, hour and a half, etc. Number 3 is they recover as hard as they train. Look at Ichiro. Ichiro, who's going into the Hall of Fame. If you ever watched him play, I'm a Seattleite, so I got to watch him play. He was constantly, you would see him stretching before, after, he's doing all of his mobility stuff. Why is it that he was able to play the game as long as he could? It's because he took care of his body. Why is it that Tom Brady was able to play the game, play football as long as he did? It's because he took care of his body. He recovered like he trained. LeBron, Kobe, even Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't even have all the science that we have now. And they still were intentional about taking care of their recovery so that they could continue bouncing back and going game after game after game. So, recover like you train. So if your opponent is refueling after every game, but you're skipping meals, who's going to last longer? If you have back-to-back games, if you have double headers, if you just have a really intense season and your opponent is really being consistent with what they're putting in and you're being inconsistent and skipping meals, they're clearly going to last longer. You're going to crash by halftime. You're going to crash by the 6th inning. The right fueling is really what's going to separate the good from the great. Those details matter. This is why when we look at pro athletes, a lot of them are very similar. They all are part of the 0.0 whatever percent. They're all elite, but it's the details that make them different. So what can you expect from proper nutrition, from eating better? You can expect better energy and endurance. So if you're tanking mid-game, and you start saying, oh, hey, I'm going to start doing breakfast consistently, I'm going to have a consistent pre-workout, whatever it might be, you're going to have more energy, more endurance. If you have back-to-back-to-back practices, one of my athletes, we were working together, and he's doing a 2-hour baseball workout, an hour and a half break, and then another 2-hour workout. He was constantly sore, constantly tired, constantly fatigued. We started putting the proper pre-workout, post-workout fuel in him. Not only did he have more energy and endurance, but he started getting leaner. So even though we ate more, he actually got leaner, got more muscle and reduced body fat and reduced weight. And it's, again, because you got to properly fuel that. Number 2, more explosive speed and power. Yes, nutrition can level up your speed. It's not just about how much you eat or how big you are or how small you are. It's also about when you're eating, what you're eating at those times. If you're drinking a protein shake pre-workout, you're not really going to gain a whole lot of speed because that protein shake's not really providing you energy. You need carbohydrates pre-workout to provide you that energy so that you can have better performance. Now, a lot of you guys want to be bigger, stronger, faster. A lot of you guys want to be leaner, stronger, faster. In those cases, we need to balance the right macros to help you get bigger, stronger, faster, or leaner, stronger, faster. For those who are trying to get bigger, stronger, faster, we focus on more volume. Maybe we're adding more complex carbs at your meals. In general, we're going to be adding more protein for both categories. But for you guys, maybe we're going to have snacks that are more protein carb focused. And then for the leaning out athlete, we're going to be focusing more on protein and low carb color. So like fruits, veggies that have more fiber in it, so you feel fuller. And we're going to do that not right before your workout. We're going to do that earlier in the day or maybe far after that workout, because you want to have carbohydrates around your workouts. I don't care what your goal is. If you want to get stronger and faster, leaner, and stronger, you've got to make sure that you're fueling your body. Otherwise, you're not going to get that full 100% out of that workout. So again, yes, we want to fine tune what we do based on bigger, stronger, faster versus leaner, stronger, faster, but you still need to fuel your body. And you're going to get much better results if you're just simply putting better food in and balancing it out based on your schedule. Now, next one. You guys don't want to be injured. I hope you guys don't want to be injured because, again, that's going to decrease your recruitability. Nutrition will help you get injured less. It will help you not be sore as often. It's going to help you bounce back so that you're not sore as long. And so nutrition is a key player when it comes to durability. Sleep is too. Do not forget about that sleep, because that can really kill your risk for injury. But nutrition is going to be a key piece of that. And it's not just how much you eat, it's what you eat. Now, on the mind side of things, yes, it's good for the body. It's also good for the mind. If you want to have better focus, better concentration, better memory. So think about, you got to make quick decisions in game. What you eat is going to determine how you focus or how well focused you are. If you're drinking caffeine pre-game, you're going to probably be a little jittery, especially if you didn't put in the right food with it. If you are just eating candy pre-game, then you might get more jitters as well. You might be more anxious. But if you put in the right types of foods and you keep your energy levels consistent, you're going to have better focus, better concentration, and better performance. So, do you want to be elite? Eat like it. So, what should a recruitable athlete's nutrition look like? I'm going to give you a handful of tips here. Not going to cover everything. We could go forever if I try to cover everything, but I want to highlight the big needle movers for you. Number one, breakfast. If cereal is your breakfast right now, or protein shake is a breakfast, or waffles, that ain't going to cut it. You are an athlete. You need protein, you need carbs, you need fats, you need color. Regardless of if you're trying to get bigger, stronger, faster, leaner, stronger, trying to maintain, breakfast is going to be one of the biggest difference makers for you. It's going to be the most transformative things for your performance. It's going to make a difference. So I don't care if your workouts in the morning. I don't care if your workouts during school, after school, or in the evenings. Breakfast is going to determine how well you perform in that workout. Step 2. Again, these are the things I work with my athletes on. These are the things that help my athletes perform at a high level and get the results that they want. Pre-game. Pre-game is everything. It's key. Pre-game fuel is going to give you peak performance. So I want to stress, though, that pre-game fuel is not just right an hour before the game. It's not just team dinner. It's what you ate at lunch. It's what you ate at breakfast. It's what you ate the night before. Heck, it's probably what you ate even 48 hours before that game. Because if you ate a big pizza 2 nights before the game, chances are that's going to slow you down. So be intentional about what you're putting in, particularly in those 48 hours, maybe even 72. You know, you're fueling a Formula One race car. You are fueling a 1969 Ford Mustang. You're fueling an elite fast car. You want to make sure that that car can actually perform the way it should. Now, hydration. We should be well hydrated. Hydration is not just an hour before. Hydration is all day. Hydration is the night before, the day before, the days before. If you're traveling to Arizona for a tournament, or you're going to Florida for again a tournament, you need proper hydration. You're going to be sweating a lot, which means you're going to be losing a lot of water. And if you're already not drinking enough water, you're going to have low energy. You're going to be more likely to be achy and injured. You're more likely to pass out, throw up, etc. So you need to be well hydrated. Even if it's February, even if it's cold, you need to stay well hydrated. Otherwise, you're going to sacrifice performance. Number 3, or this is number 4 of the top ones. Again, breakfast, pre and post, those are going to be huge. Hydration would be a top number 4. Post-game recovery is really going to help you stay strong all season long. So if you're not taking care of post-game, if you're skipping snacks or you're skipping meals post-workout, or you're waiting hours post-workout or post-game to fuel, then you're going to have slower recovery, which means you're not going to be able to bounce back as well the next day. So make sure that you're eating not just protein, you need carbohydrates post-workout and post-game if you want to maximize your recovery. So again, what do you get out of the better breakfast, better pre, better post, and better hydration? You're going to have more stamina, faster recovery, fewer injuries, and really that long-term success. And bonus, you're going to show coaches that you are serious. So how can you show coaches you're serious about nutrition? I just want to give you guys a few little tips here. We're getting a bit close to wrapping up here, but I want to highlight some key things that help you stand out. So be consistent. Consistent, yes, in your training schedule, but consistent in your eating habits too. If you can be consistent there, you can be consistent anywhere else. Again, coaches want consistency. They want somebody they can rely on. Step 2. This is more of a fun one. Share your process on social media without overdoing it. So, it can be fun. You don't have to do this. If you're going to go see a coach, you're going to go visit them, you're going to go do a showcase or something, and you put in the work, you put in that dark work where they didn't see, and then you come back out and you're like, holy cow, that dude just gained 15 pounds of muscle and he's performing way better than he did. He's hitting the ball harder. That's going to stand out to them. So you could do it that way where it's like, okay, you're going to a showcase and they're going to see you. But if they're not going to see you, and maybe your social media for a while said, 6'140", and you're now 6'165", make sure you update that. Make sure you're showing, hey, these are some, maybe even as simple as maybe you post a pregame meal. Maybe you post a breakfast that you have on a consistent basis. If you show that you're eating eggs, toast, fruit, all the things at breakfast, meanwhile everybody else is eating cereal, that's going to stand out. Coaches see those things. Yes, it may not be the focal point. Maybe, again, your highlight reels, things like that may be your focus, but those little details, that makes you stand out. When they see you doing something different, when they see you, again, they're recruiting out of 1 million athletes or 500,000 athletes. So if they're looking at all these different profiles and yeah, sure, highlight reel, but then that next post is like, oh, hey, look at that breakfast. Look at that dinner that they had. Look at what they had, what they brought to the showcase. Like, that's going to stand out. You don't have to do it all the time. Just have a couple, a post here and there of like, hey, these are some of the things I'm eating. And it really, it'll stand out. And other athletes will probably, be like, hey, who's this kid? Like, what's he doing? So again, show it a little bit. Doesn't have to be flashy. Just be like, hey, these are some of the things I'm doing. Now, number 3, this is really, really, really important. Show up to camps looking and performing like an elite athlete. So if you're going to a showcase, you're going to a camp, you're going to a tournament, don't show up with McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. I might know that you're eating grilled chicken. You might know that you're eating grilled chicken, but all that coach sees is that red and white bag or the yellow and white bag and red bag. Bring the Chipotle. Maybe Panda Express. Panda Express has great options. I just don't think the coaches necessarily realize that yet. But choose the things that are like, okay, like that bag is going to look good. Or maybe you just have the container. Okay, that looks good. It's not wrapped up in like a sandwich. Like, okay, cool, promising. Or just bring your own food. Again, those little details matter. Your highlights are going to catch their attention. Your habits are going to get you the offers. So, final takeaway. The athletes who make it to the next level don't just train hard. They fuel smarter. So here's my challenge to you. Start fueling like a recruitable athlete today. Not when coaches are watching, not your senior year of high school, right now. Because the ones who take it seriously, they're the ones who get recruited. They're the ones who maybe even go D1 a lot quicker. They're the ones who get the offers that they want. So again, take it seriously. Take steps now. I don't care if you're one of my middle schoolers listening to this, one of my high schoolers listening to this, start taking action. Start taking steps, baby steps. Doesn't have to be crazy. Start doing the breakfast consistently. Start doing pre-workout consistently. Just do those details and you're going to feel better. You're going to perform better. And again, you're going to start standing out more. Now, if you're serious about standing out to coaches and you want a step-by-step nutrition plan to maximize your performance, then DM me. My links are in the show notes, Nick Lemke RD, and let's get you fueling like a recruitable athlete. And until next time, keep striving for greatness.